Hello, football fans, and welcome to episode 30 of View from the Sideline podcast. No Premier League action at the weekend, so we've got a bit of a special episode for you today. Coming up, we've got a condensed EFL review covering the action from Leagues 1 and 2, including our views on the sacking of Darren Way at Yeovil. We have the usual features with Pete testing our knowledge with another teaser, and we will give you an update on the predictions challenge with the race for the trophy hotting up with only a few rounds to go. Our special topic this week is Chris and I picking our European 11 from players outside of the Premier League to make a European super team. So start up the stat machine to see which players make the cut. There's no time to waste, so let's get started.
Hello and welcome to episode 30 of View from the Sideline podcast. It's Chris here and Rich here as well.
Good evening, Chris. How are you?
Good, Rich, yourself?
I'm good, yeah. I'm looking forward to the return of the Premier League after a good international break.
Seems like ages since we actually seen some Premier League football. But I know there's some games midweek as well next week. So
there's a big one. There's a big one coming up at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which I'm very much looking forward to.
It's so good. I've heard it made Pochettino cry.
Yeah,
he's seen apparently for the first time.
It looks.
Does look very nice.
Very impressive. I'm good to hear you say that, Chris. I was going to ask you as a fellow Premier League supporting fan what you thought of it. I've seen a lot of reaction on social media and a lot of nice things being said by other fans, including Arsenal fans, but it does look looks very impressive.
When they play, they'll come round and just rip all the seats up anyway.
Probably.
Anyway,
but it's very impressive.
We've got a teaser this week, but it's from Pete again, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Yes. I think this may be become a regular thing. Maybe that we get teasers sent in to test both our knowledge, Chris. I think it helps me that you are helping me to get the answer. So this week's teaser is who was the first player to reach 100 Premier League goals?
Oh,
now. It's a good question because there's some obvious ones, some obvious answers, and then there's some sort of
put it in
on the fringe players. Now I've got an idea. I've got an idea.
I've got two names in mind, but I'm obviously going to have to think back to when I was a little bit younger. Trying to think how long it would have taken someone to do it. So I'll have to have a think about that one. I think because I can't.
It'll be interesting to see.
I'll
be interested to see what you've got versus what I've got, and then maybe if we've got the same one, maybe that should be our guess. But it's a good question. I don't think there's an obvious answer, but yeah. So we'll come back to that at the end of the podcast.
Like Rich mentioned earlier, no Premier League games this week, so we'll go straight into the review of League 1 and League 2. And Rich is first with League 1.
Yeah, so League 1 at the weekend. I'm going to start the other way round this week. So I'm going to start at the bottom because, to be honest, that's where most of the action is. So only one of the bottom 9 teams won over the weekend, and that was Rochdale. They're in 22nd. They beat Scunthorpe 3-1 at home. That win lifts them up one place after Wimbledon suffered their first defeat in 5 games. They lost 4-2 at home to Gillingham. Bradford remained bottom and they suffered their 3rd straight defeat. They lost 4-1 at home to Blackpool. So Rochdale were the big movers in the relegation zone in League 1. So what that means overall is there's a gap between Wickham, who are in 16th, down to Bradford, who are bottom, is now only 8 points. Most of the teams have still got 7 more games to play, so that's a possible 21 points. So really, really tight at the bottom of League 1, and it's all to play for. So, yeah, still lots going on down there. At the top, The top three all won. So Luton remain top. They beat Doncaster 4-0. Barnsley won 1-0 with a 92nd minute winner. They beat Walsall 1-0 and they stay in second. Third place, Portsmouth won 2-0 away at Shrewsbury. Sunderland in fourth. They didn't play, but they now have 2 games in hand on the top three, meaning that if they were to win them both, they would go above Barnsley into second place. Charlton are in fifth. They also didn't play, but they do remain 7 points clear of Doncaster, who are in sixth after their defeat at Luton. So the top 5 are pretty much guaranteed at least a playoff place, I'd say, with the amount of games remaining and the points difference.
Are they the most informed team, did you say, in the league at the moment?
Barnsley are.
Barnsley's still up there.
I think Barnsley have I think they've lost one in something like 21, 22 games. Their form is just unreal. But Luton's is as well, to be fair, so deservedly in the positions they are.
Didn't they?
They did, yeah, they did, yeah.
At all, hasn't it?
So it's the last playoff place, really. So there's only 4 points that separate Doncaster, who are in sixth, and Coventry that are in ninth. So there's 4 teams, sort of four, maybe 5 teams that are in the race for that final playoff place. Game of the day had to be at the Pirelli Stadium. There was a 7-goal thriller with Burton beating Accrington 5-2. So a decent game. Burton, they remain in 10th. They're 1 place behind Coventry. So probably the last team that are in the playoff chase. And Accrington remained in 17th. And that's League One.
Okay, so League Two. Top place Lincoln. They won away to Crawley. That was 3-0 there. They've actually increased their gap now at the top to 8 points over second place Bury. Bury do have a game in hand, but Bury only drew 0-0 with Grimsby at the weekend. Mansfield lost at home 2-1 to Crewe, so a bit of a surprise in that game. So Mansfield have actually moved down to 4th place now because MK Dons beat Yeovil 2-0. So MK Dons back up into the automatic promotion places into 3rd. 5th, 6th, and 7th all won their games this weekend, and they were all away from home. So Tranmere beat fellow playoff hopefuls Colchester 2-0. Forest Green also won 2-0 away to Port Vale, and Exeter beat bottom Notts County 1-0. Exeter were down to 10 men after 23 minutes in that game, and actually scored the winner in the 93rd minute. So just managing to get a win there. And with only 10 men. And the guy that actually got sent off had 2 yellow cards within the first 20 minutes. So he didn't have a great day. So the bottom, so just mentioned Notts County there, they lost, so they remain bottom. Macclesfield, however, they drew 2-2 with Stevenage. So now just 2 points off of safety. Macclesfield actually scored in the 93rd minute in that one as well to get a point. And Yeovil just above them now, only 2 points clear of relegation zone. They lost 2-0 to MK Dons. Macclesfield have also got a game in hand, so a win for Macclesfield in that game, and Yeovil would be in the bottom 2. And as
what's the gap? Sorry, Chris.
2 points. So it's 2 points. So a win for Macclesfield would lift them up and put Yeovil in to a lot of trouble, and as most of you will be aware now, Yeovil sacked their manager this weekend, Darren Way. So he was given his marching orders, and so Yeovil in big trouble, I would say, because Macclesfield second half of the season, if they would have had this form throughout the whole season, they wouldn't be anywhere near the trouble that they're in now, Macclesfield. So. Yeah, this is an interesting one. We'll have to see what happens.
Do notice Macclesfield have got Lincoln.
They have,
Lincoln away next, so away against the top of the table. But I think when we'll talk about Yeovil in a sec, but I guess this is all part of it, really. I guess it's relevant.
Yeah.
Notts County aren't at all, are they?
Notts County are actually only 3 points off Yeovil. So it's not.
same amount of games played. I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
gap
yeah.
the gap
They
between
were.
Yeovil and Port Vale above them is 5 points, which
Yeah.
is
So it's
that
nowhere
gap is
near
bigger.
over. So
It looks like it's definitely 2 of that bottom 3 that are going to go down. And Notts County play Stevenage away at the weekend, so I think, well, on paper, Yeovil have probably got the easiest game, but they're still playing Newport, who we know from
well,
their FA Cup exploits. But
yeah. But we
that,
beat Yeovil beat Newport early on in the season away 6-1, was it 6-0,
yeah.
6-1? So
But it's
where
so
that's gone now.
that division is so close. If you look at Newport, just to give a bit of context, Newport have got 2 games in hand on a lot of the teams in that division. If they were to win both of them, they're 3 points off the playoffs.
Yeah,
That's
and
how that's how close
Colchester,
that division is.
yeah, Colchester and Carlisle, Colchester have lost their last 2 games, both against teams in the playoffs. So
Mm.
they've suffered 2 bad defeats, and Carlisle are still hanging on in there, but it's going to be interesting to see who grabs those playoff, and also between I think Lincoln are okay. I think they'll be safe. I think they're going to more than likely win the league. But it'd be interesting to see out of Bury, Mansfield, and MK Dons who the other 2 teams that got. Obviously, Bury got a game in
Well,
hand
yeah.
as
I mean,
well.
Lincoln are sort of 16 points 13 points inside automatic promotion,
Yeah,
so they should be all right. So Yeovil, Chris. So
yeah.
I'm sure you've got some news
Oh
hot
yeah,
off the press for us, but just
yeah,
just from my perspective,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
obviously, I mean you're a lot closer to it than I am. So a couple of things. Who who are we looking at as a permanent replace apart from yourself, of
Oof.
course? Who are we looking at as a permanent replacement? And from a follower of Yeovil Town, is it a good move? Is it going to give
Yeah,
them the because the new manager bounce, which I'm sure will be spoken about because of the situation they're in. uh, it's a bit 50-50 sometimes, that what you know, and having a manager there that knows the players, etc., etc. He's
yeah,
obviously not been that successful, but which one's going to give them more success? Are you confident that they've done the right thing and it's going to have
yeah.
the
So
desired effect?
I think so. They've got the assistant that was there, Neil Mum, and he's taken charge. I believe for the rest of the season now. So obviously
Is
a
he?
big
Is that a good
big job for
choice?
him.
Is
Well,
it good
I
for the
think
fans?
he's the obvious choice just until the end of the season. He's the assistant manager. I think he only came in December January time, so he hasn't been there that long. I don't know a huge amount about him. I know he had a brief playing career, but not a hugely successful one.
What's the
Um,
reaction been like on
so
social media? Because I know.
I think yeah. So I've got a few tweets here. Uh, this one is from Twitter user Harrison East 3. He said, I think the second was right on the run of form we were on, but I also think it might still be too late and should have happened earlier. Port Vale was the final straw for me. As much of a club legend the guy was, all he has done this season is alienate the fan base and drove fans away from the stadium. Lost the dressing room, it would seem, as the players are a very talented bunch who could push for playoffs under the right manager. Hopefully, we can have a big push from now until the end of the season. So obviously, there, Harrison 99 feels that obviously it's a bit. They should have done it earlier, and I agree. I feel that he should have gone at 2-3 months ago. I feel. I don't think. I well, I think it will be clear to see on Saturday how it's going to go. But the guy that's taken charge now, he's opened up training sessions so fans can go and watch them train as well now. So I think he's trying to get the fans back involved. Yeah,
I think that's a good thing. I just wonder if if the worst was to happen and they get relegated, for example. I guess the the whole sort of blame's going to fall on Darren Way's shoulders anyway, isn't it? I mean, you're
Yeah,
39
yeah.
games into the season. You can't necessarily expect a caretaker to come in for the last sort of 6-7 games and turn a season around in that sort of time. But I guess from a fan's point of view, I know when we've had this topic on the podcast before, and there's been a lot of comments from fans about that he wasn't the right man to be the manager, etc., etc. So I guess in that perspective, I mean, from your point of view, would you accept relegation for the fact that he's gone, or
they've
would you
been,
rather
yeah,
stay in the
I think
football
it's
league and him still be there?
it's a good question. I think maybe people are thinking it's probably best that they go down and rebuild, but I
What,
think
even with the new owners? So
with
where's
new, I was about to
that
say
now?
with
Are
new,
they in?
so
Are they installed, or?
they're there ready, I believe, but not that. I think it was partly their decision that he's gone as well, from what I'm aware. But
Oh, so you think that so they've had an involvement in this
yeah,
decision?
I think they've had some involvement. But I think a lot will come clear on Saturday in how that they approach the game. It's a fan appreciation day on Saturday, so I believe under 16s get in for free. So there'll be a big crowd there. So it's hard because the way that they've been playing at the moment, anything, even a draw, I think is an improvement at the moment. But like I said, I think it should have happened a couple of months ago. But then I got another one here from Adam on Twitter. He said it was 100% correct decision, but this should have been done ages ago. His attitude towards the fans recently has been disgraceful. He was a great player, but a terrible manager. And I think people will only remember the manager part now. We've got a massive 7 games to save our league status. So I think people are hopeful that this guy's going to come in and save them. Yeovil have renowned over the last sort of 4 or 5 seasons to just scrape out of trouble at the right time. So we'll have to see.
I think the Macclesfield game in hand is pretty crucial,
Yeah.
because obviously if they lose, you keep the 2-point buffer. If they win or draw, then it's sort of getting very nervy. So we'll have to see, I guess. I mean, I kind of want them to stay up. I'm not sure why. I don't have any affiliation to them, but I think the fact that we talk about them quite regularly on the
But then
podcast,
there's people like the wife who have met him in the last sort of couple of months and say like what a genuinely nice guy he is.
I think most
she's got
people
the
in football
emotional.
are no.
She's
I
got
think
the
most
emotional
people in
side.
football are nice guys. I just
So,
think it's when it's your team and you don't think they're doing what they should be doing, and results are terrible, and you're on the brink of relegation.
So
You're just not going to like them that much.
December 2015, he took over. So he's been there for a good 3 and a bit years.
I think he's probably one of the longest-serving managers in the
He
division,
signed
isn't he?
he signed a contract extension November as well to 2021. So
well, he'll get a nice little payoff or something, I expect.
Yeah, I've got one more tweet here as well. This one's said.
Is it from your wife saying what a lovely guy he was?
No, this is from John. He says, I literally couldn't be happier. One of the best days of my life. I hate what he's done to our team and club. And whilst so many people will be sad to see him go, I will be holding a celebration party.
Where's
John,
the invite, John?
Where's
the party being held? No.
We'll see. We'll see what happens on this weekend. I'd like them to stay up, but whether now the team is damaged beyond repair. But I agree with what Harrison said in his tweet that the team that they've got, they should be hitting the playoffs with that team because they've got some talented people in that team. So so wait and see. But we'll move on.
Yes,
Rich, you're going to talk a bit about predictions.
Yeah, so just the usual update on predictions. So the weekend just gone, we had Rachel as our guest predictor, who came away with a score of 10, as did you, Chris.
Yeah.
I got 15. So we're still not any closer to overtaking Jamie at the top with 30. Uh, we're quickly running out of rounds. I think there's probably 7 or 8 rounds maximum that are going to be left
That many at all.
before the end of the season. Obviously, for the people listening and the people that have taken part before, you are in with a chance of having another go. We'll see how that goes, because I think 30 seems to be almost like a one-off fluke score, really. Although, I mean, we've hit it a couple of times, but
Yeah.
we've had
Well,
30
we've
odd
had how
goes.
many goes we had?
Yeah,
We've
exactly,
about
exactly.
one in every 10 tries. I think we've hit it. So
Yeah, something like that. So, but something. I mean, I just think for the first season of our podcast, it's something that's gone down really well. We've had, I think we've had 34 rounds now, so we've had 34 guests taking part, and we've got a few ideas, haven't we, Chris, for next year about how
yeah,
we're going to evolve it. So hopefully, if we come back for a second season, it will be something that we will develop slightly, make it a bit more interactive. But yes, and I believe, Chris, you have some news about the trophy. The trophy is
the
en route. The
trophy
trophy is being
is
engraved as we speak.
it's being looked into yet. So the there's a couple possible that I've seen that I like. So
It's just the
uh,
postage, because it is so huge
yeah,
that it's gonna like literally take
I
its
think
own
Eiffel
lorry.
Tower, that sort
Yeah,
of. So,
yeah.
but yeah, it's gonna look
So
good.
whoever wins it is
I've
gonna have
seen
to
it.
move
So
house to incorporate it.
it's gonna look nice on my mantelpiece for a couple of weeks before I have to hand over.
Yeah. So just to let everybody know, Chris has already said that he's gonna have photos taken with the trophy.
Just in
Um,
case.
yeah, just as
Uh,
sort of some sort of memento before it actually goes to the actual winner. Um, Yeah. Okay. So that's predictions. So we're back with the football, well, Premier League and obviously EFL action. This round of predictions at the weekend. So we've got our guest predictor Harry this week. So we'll see how he gets on and see if anyone can threaten the score of 30. We'll have to wait
it'd
and
be
see.
nice if someone came close because we're struggling. People are struggling to get 25 at the moment. So,
Well, that's part of the beauty of it, though. I suppose
and I have.
it's
I
not as
think
easy as you think.
no,
It's not
no, it's
picking
not.
6 results
And I
for
think
games.
James was probably the closest at one point to get into. When it, he was the one at half
I
time.
think
He had
he
like
had.
40 odd points in
Yeah,
at half
he
time,
did. Yeah,
and then
yeah.
he ended up on
I'm not
about
sure.
10.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if he listens, but God, we never would have heard the end of that if he'd
No,
gone.
no.
But I believe he does listen. So yeah, shout out to you there, James. Yeah, at half time he had the best score. Anyway, yeah, so that's predictions. So we will be posting the this week's matches online probably tomorrow, and then we will have an update over the weekend once the results are in. So I think that's it for part 1, Chris.
Yep, that's it for part one. We'll be back in part two with our special topic where we've each picked our European 11. So that's players outside of the Premier League, and we'll try and get Pete's teaser, and obviously we'll tell you what's happening next week as well. So we're back in part two.
Hello and welcome back to View from the Sideline podcast. So part 2 of today's show, we are going to go through our European 11. So Chris and I set each other the challenge of picking a starting 11 in a 4-4-2 formation for players in the European leagues, but not the Premier League. For those of you that listen to the podcast on a regular basis, you will know that a good few months ago, I think it was, Chris,
It was
if I'm right.
episode 3 or 4.
Crikey. So it was about 26 episodes ago that Chris and I picked our Premier League 11 during one of the earlier international breaks, which got me some notoriety, I think, for putting Lloris in.
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah,
I
I got a
remember
bit
this.
I got a bit of stick for that.
Yeah. Do you still stand by
Lloris
that?
over De Gea. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely do. As the weeks went on, I kind of got proved right, I think, because United were continually letting goals in, and Spurs weren't. So anyway, so we've gone 4-4-2, so we can pick players from
Yeah.
any European club side outside of the Premier League. And I don't know about you, Chris, but the thing that this has certainly showed me is the actual quality players in the Premier League. Because when you're thinking about the players in their positions and the top players in Europe, a lot of them are in the Premier League, and they're the first ones that come to your mind. But when you can't pick any of them, it becomes a bit harder. So we will do the goalkeeper, and then we'll reveal our back four and our midfield four, and then our two strikers, and we'll go through each position in a little bit of detail. So you can kick off, Chris, with your number one.
The goalkeeper I've gone for is Jan Oblak. Who did you go for?
I've gone for ter Stegen.
Ter Stegen. Okay, I'll tell you why I went for Oblak. He kept the most clean sheets in Europe last season in 2018. And
hold on. Is this the stat machine starting up?
The stat machine has started up.
Yeah, I can feel the stats.
And I've got another one as well. So he has more clean sheets than goals conceded since 2014. So he's kept more clean sheets than the goals he's actually conceded, which I thought was, which is one of the reasons I put him in there. And he's a decent kid. He plays for. I really do like Atletico Madrid, but I think it's because it's Simeone. I'd love to see Simeone in the Premier League. I wouldn't even mind who he was at. I'd love to see him in there.
Yeah. I'm going to disagree with you because I didn't pick him, but I think that he is. You said it yourself. He's a decent keeper, but that's not good enough. Being a decent keeper is not good enough to get into the European Super Team.
Is not.
I've gone on it. I've gone at it from a slightly different angle. Now, hands up, if Manuel Neuer had not been injured, I would have put him in. I think that if you go back 2-3 years, I think Neuer was probably at the time the best keeper in the world. And obviously Courtois going to Madrid, he was an option, but he's just been pants lately. But the reason I've put ter Stegen in is one because of Neuer's injury, he's been a regular in the German side. And although that might not sound a good thing because Germany have been in awful form, I still think that being the number one for Germany and being the number one for possibly the best club side in Europe, and Barca have, I think they are very good defensively, but they're football playing defenders. And I think with the buying power that Barcelona have, you like I say, you've got to be a decent keeper. And I'm not saying Oblak's a bad keeper. I just went for a different option.
I disagree. I think he's been miles better than ter Stegen. That's fine.
You said it yourself. He's an okay keeper.
He's a world class keeper. Said. Well, that's what I meant.
You've picked him because you like the manager.
Right.
I think it's what you said.
Right. So I will go through my defenders now. So left back Marcelo, right back Kimmich, centre back Sergio Ramos, and Rafael Varane.
Okay. So we've got one player the same. So my left back is Jordi Alba. Centre backs are you laughing? Centre backs are PK and Varane,
Peak.
and
Oh my word! Right, who's your
right
right back?
back Alaba at Bayern Munich.
All right. Are you sure PK over Ramos?
Yeah, I am.
Oh mate,
I knew this was going to
Ramos.
be a conversation. So
Ramos
let's
is
just clear this
the
up. So
best defender in the world at the moment.
no,
Ramos,
no.
by
So
far.
I'm gonna go. Let's do the one we've got. So Varane at Real
Varane, yeah.
Madrid. So I've put him in, obviously, as have you, but it was very close with Umtiti at Barcelona because I think since he had an amazing World Cup and um, he's been amazing for Barcelona since. But I did sort of think I would have four of Barcelona's back
Yeah,
five.
Varane
Um,
he's just so strong and young at the same time. He's just and
yeah, I
the
think
amount he's won as
he,
well.
he's a bit more of a complete classy centre half. I think Varane.
He's a bit
He's
like Van
very
Dijk. If I had to
yeah.
compare it to him,
Well,
and he
he
reminds.
reminds me of Ferdinand. He reminds me of
Yeah,
Rio
yeah, yeah.
Ferdinand a bit. He's a very sort of complete centre half. Pete, yeah, sorry, we've got Ramos. I don't agree with you. I think he's a good defender, but I think he doesn't defend in the way that I would want my defence to play. He's a bit erratic, and if he plays for your team, you love him. If he doesn't, you hate him.
I think he's world class. I think he is the
I
best
tell you
defender
what,
out there at the moment.
if Chelsea ever got back in the Champions League and you played Real Madrid and you were playing against him, after the game you would not love him.
But that penalty. Did you see the penalty he took the other day?
He scored 3 Panekas
Yeah,
in
that's
the
why he's on the
last
list.
4 or something.
He's
Nah,
just pure composure. That guy. He hardly ever. I know he got the yellow card in the Champions League, which then turns out he got suspended, and then a further suspension for breaking the
does
rules.
that not put you off though? I think
No,
him and PK are very similar, but with PK you just get you
I
don't get any of
guarantee you
the
this.
theatrics and drama.
I guarantee this. If you asked everyone in the football world who would they rather have, I guarantee 75-80% would say Ramos over PK.
Well, let's put it out there.
We will. Well, we will.
If
We will.
anyone's
Yeah.
got a view on that, PK or Ramos, maybe we should do that as a poll. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll
Maybe
get that
we
out
will.
there. I'm
But
determined to prove you
um,
wrong on this,
the
Chris.
left back and the right back for me didn't really matter too much. So I picked Marcelo just because I thought since Ashley Cole is no longer in the frame, he's probably the second best left back that the world has seen in the last
Has
sort of
seen, has
years.
seen. Yeah, okay. To me, he's
Still
too
playing.
similar. I know, yeah, I know he's still playing, but he's too similar to Ramos for me. He's too he is going forward. He is amazing, but defensively, I don't think he's that great.
I'd say he is one of the he would get into any team in the world. Marcelo. I don't think there's a
God,
better left back out there. I
that's a
don't think
bold
there's a better left
statement.
back out there. Right back, I went for Kimmich. He's another youngish sort of player. I think he's about 24. Plays for Bayern Munich. I think he's always been in the German league, but 90% passing success rate in his career. That is
As
very good for a
yeah,
right back.
as is Jordan Henderson, I'd imagine.
And Kimmich is versatile. He's like the John O'Shea of Germany.
What a
He
comparison!
can play anywhere along the back and in front of the defence as well.
Great
So
comparison.
there you go.
Yeah, I think I tell you one thing from doing this, finding world class fullbacks in European leagues. There's almost no comparison when you're looking at obviously Mendy and Walker at Man City, even sort of like Chilwell at Leicester at the moment.
Alonso.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alonso and Trippier or Davis or Rose. I think the best fullbacks are certainly in the Premier League. But
Yeah. Who did you say?
okay,
Oh, Alaba, wasn't it? Oh
yeah,
yeah, he's
yeah,
good.
I like him. I think he's a good player. I think
He's
he
another one
gets
that can play. He's
he gets. I
versatile,
mean,
yeah.
he's been at Munich his whole career, apart from a short loan spell. I think he was at Hoffenheim or somewhere like that. But same with Kimmich. He's been in the German league his whole career, and I think I'm not disrespecting Austria at all, but I think a lot of people forget about him because he's Austrian. He's sort of
Yeah,
not playing for a
yeah,
country that's sort of at
Germany.
the forefront. Well, yeah,
Playing for Germany, yeah.
I think the Pique Ramos one's a good one. A good one. I'm sticking by my guns though, but I can see
All
where
right.
you're coming from.
So the forward midfield I've gone for is Neymar, Mbappe, Luka Modric, and Toni Kroos. So another two good players.
Oh my days! Oh my
If
days!
you've got
I
anyone
I
better than that, I will
I,
be very. Well,
I was
I'll be surprised if you haven't gone for Neymar.
I was just gonna say, so because you thought there'd be quite similarities between our teams. So our
Yeah,
keeper was different, and three of our defenders were different. So that's
yeah.
four so far. We're going to add to that. So right, okay. So we'll go. So I've gone Ronaldo.
Okay.
I've gone for Ronaldo on the right. I've gone for Modric in the centre. Who else did you have? Sorry.
Neymar, Modric, Kroos, and Mbappe.
I've gone Dybala, centre mid alongside Modric. And this is my wild card. This is my left midfield is my wild card. I've gone for Jordan Sancho.
Oh my word!
Tell
Over
tell
Neymar.
tell me tell me at the moment a better attacking wide player in
Neymar.
European football.
Neymar.
When was the last time he played?
It doesn't matter. I don't need. I don't
No,
need to. I don't even need to justify it. This is.
I'm going for the future. I'm going for the future. If you watch
Neymar's not
both of
going anywhere in the next 10 years. What?
nah. No, I've gone for Sancho. I'm not a fan of Neymar. I've got to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of him, and I think that Sancho,
Sancho.
he has played so well for England over the
He's played
last.
well, but I wouldn't say he wouldn't.
I'm going on current
He's not.
form. If
I've
I was
done
to
I've done honourable mentions. He's not even in that.
if I was going to pick a team of European, my starting 11 for players across Europe at the moment, he would be in it. He would definitely be in it. And
Dybala.
yeah,
Dybala's a good player, but I wouldn't. I would. You want someone
I
like
think
Kroos
he.
in the middle. He's
No,
someone
no,
who can
no.
pass the ball. Someone who
This
can
is where
create
I
things.
knew this would cause a debate. So
Dybala's more attacking than anything. You don't
I
need that.
think Mbappe is a no-brainer. Modric is probably a no-brainer,
I'd say Modric
but
at this present time is probably one of the best midfielders that you're going to get.
I don't think he's as good as he was last year. I think that
But
the reason
yeah,
I've put him in is based on his last 12 months. He has been
he won Ballon
unbelievable.
d'Or, so yeah, I'm not.
Admittedly, his first 8 months were better than his current 4 months, but I think he's got to go in there, and I think he's probably if
Don't you
he's
think
not
Kroos is like one of the
his peak.
best passers
No,
in the world?
no, I don't. I think
You not
he.
see. This-
I think he. So I think Dybala is one of the most underrated players in Europe, and he is one of the players.
I've
Apart
spearheaded Dybala in. I made Dybala in this country. I'm telling you that.
What, Championship Manager?
Yeah,
I tell
on
you
Football
what,
Manager. I remember buying him about 5 years ago, and I was saying to everyone he's gonna be a player. But I put him in an honourable mention, but
I tell
I
you
wouldn't
why.
say both.
He is one of the players outside your Mbappe's, your Messi's, your Ronaldo's that I would love to see in the Premier League. I think he is such a classy player,
Oh yeah, I'd
and
love to see him
I
in the Premier
think
League.
he is one that you only had to watch him against Spurs last season at Wembley. He flipped that game on its head, and to me, he's the key for everything that Juventus do and everything that Juventus do well. Why he wasn't starting for Argentina at the World Cup, I've got no idea. But I
They
think
got
he's
Messi.
I think he's quite similar but I don't think he's the same sort of player as Messi. I think that he's a similar player to Cruz, but I think Tony Cruz is past his best. I think he's pretty past his best.
Disagree with that. I can't disagree with you more on that.
He's not the player he once was.
And you picked Ronaldo as well, didn't you?
I've gone for Ronaldo.
I can't disagree with Ronaldo. So basically my strikers were Messi and Ronaldo. So I can't disagree with you on Ronaldo.
Yeah, well, I've gone the other way. So I've put Ronaldo in midfield. I've put Mbappe up front.
Up front.
So I've gone Messi and Mbappe.
I didn't really think Messi and Ronaldo really need too much.
No.
Yeah. Well, I think they were the two definitely most definitely.
So my honourable mentions were Ramos, Bale. Bale nearly made it for me. Asensio at Madrid, Neymar, Manuel Neuer, Diego Godin, Mats Hummels, Di Maria, because I think he's having a bloody. He's having such a good season at PSG. He's having such a good season. Coutinho, Icardi at Inter, and Dani Alves.
I can't. Coutinho, really right.
No.
Not Coutinho.
He's an honourable mention because he's someone that you would have to consider. So, and the other one was Luis Suarez.
So
but he just didn't make it in.
Suarez, Bale, Courtois, Hummels, Thiago Silva, Royce, Dybala, Griezmann, and Lewandowski.
Griezmann, I'll give you, not Lewandowski.
I got Lewis at work to do one for me as well, and he picked exactly the same team as me, apart from he had Dybala instead of Cruz.
Yeah. So he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about either.
So I've asked one other person, and their team was literally 90% spot on.
Was it your wife?
No, it was Lewis.
Sorry, I thought you meant you've asked one other person apart from in addition to Lewis.
I only need to ask one person, Rich. That Ramos is better than Pique.
Okay, we'll put that out there. We'll put that out there. Ramos is a more high profile midfield, a more high profile defender because of the chaos that he brings and the press that he brings. Pique just goes about his business quietly.
Pique was playing for Catalonia the other day at the weekend.
Yeah.
Did you see how many players they've got?
He had an amazing game.
You see the amount of ex-Spanish players that are playing for them. Jesus Navas was playing for. There was a list. I can't remember what it was, but there was at least 6 ex-Spanish internationals playing for them. I think they did. Did they win or did they nearly win?
Yeah, no, I think they won. I think they won from what I saw.
I can't remember.
Yes, yeah, I think they did. Yeah. So let's just summarise. So we had a different keeper, 3 different defenders. We had 2 different midfielders. Because I had Dybala and Sancho. You had Cruz and someone else. And then Mbappe. But so we swapped Mbappe and Ronaldo. I'm surprised you don't see Jordan Sancho.
Not maybe in 5 years' time. Not.
No, but if you were to pick a team now, on form across Europe, you can't have Neymar because he's injured.
Yeah, but he could be in the worst form of his life, Neymar, and I'd still pick him over Sancho.
Tony Cruz is he's not as good as he once was. Not as good. If he was, Madrid wouldn't be in the position they're in. And Germany wouldn't have got knocked out of the World Cup. Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised we were that different. I think I get the impression that you were. But anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on. That was a heated debate, Chris.
Yeah. I'm not happy about you picking PK.
Well, I tell you what. So next week I'm not here. I'm away next week, as you know, Chris. So I am gonna, when I'm on holiday, I'm gonna survey random strangers about PK or Ramos.
Where are you going? You're going away, aren't you?
I am going to Butlins.
It's your favourite place.
It is my favourite place. I'm going to Butlins, and I'm going to ask the Tots TV people who they believe is a better centre back, and I'll phone in next week or something, and we'll put that one to bed. Right. Okay, so yeah, it's good
right,
topic.
Teaser, yeah.
Teaser, yeah. So my gut feel. You go first, Chris. Who were the names you had?
I had Andy Cole.
Oh, interesting. I had Teddy Sheringham.
Didn't think about him.
And my reason for thinking Teddy Sheringham was I couldn't remember who Shearer was playing for when the Premier League started.
Would be a good shout.
But I remember obviously Teddy Sheringham scoring the first weekend of the Premier League, and I didn't know where Shearer was playing at that time and if he was in the Premier League. So that's why I went for Sheringham.
Andy Cole I went for.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Where was Andy Cole playing when the Premier League started? Was he at Newcastle? Or was he even in it?
I don't know.
Newcastle weren't in the Premier League the first season, though, were they? Or were they?
I can't remember, mate.
We're gonna have to decide. But then you can throw Shearer in. I'm gonna go Sheringham. Sheringham would be my.
Should we go Sheringham?
He would be my guess.
Okay, so we're gonna say Sheringham.
Yeah.
All right, let me have a look.
You're gonna do the honours. Best Andy Cole, innit?
So that's a list of footballers with more. I'm supposed to find this out. No, so during the 95-96 season, such and such player became the first player to score 100 Premier League goals. It was one of the three that will be mentioned.
Damn you, Alan Shearer.
It was Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer, yeah. He was also the first to hit 200 as well, I believe.
Oh, that's just being selfish.
Well, in fact, he's only one of two players that have hit 200.
Yeah. So, Sheringham scored 146 in total. So at least he got to 100.
Third.
Oh well, good question. Good question.
It was a good question. To be honest, Shearer didn't come to my mind. Lampard was fourth. That's total goals, not first to 100. But yeah, Shearer was the first Premier League player to score 100 goals.
Yeah, there you go.
So.
Okay, so I think we've got a few more teasers that Pete sent in, so we've got enough to keep us going till the end of the season, I think.
So, as Rich said, he's not here next week, so it will be me with a special guest, I suppose. Special guest,
Lewis, I expect, and then you can swap notes on your European 11.
So yeah, it will be me and said guest next week. Rich is off on holiday, but yeah, that's it for this week. Anything else, Rich?
No, not really. Just thanks for everyone again for listening. I know we probably say it every week. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, please subscribe through YouTube or through iTunes because we've got episodes coming out every week, as you may know. So yeah, thanks for listening. And if you do like it, as I say, please subscribe.
Yep. So we will. Well, we'll see you in 2 weeks, Rich. But you'll hear me next week. So we'll see you next week.
Yep. See you later, Chris.